You're not behind because of AI. You're behind because you've been watching people adapt while you've been writing reasons why you can't. The technology isn't the threat. You are. And the worst part, you already know it. So why are you still standing still? Stop. Read that again. You are not the victim of a technological revolution. You are the victim of your own avoidance. The machine isn't hunting you. Your fear is. And fear is quiet. Fear doesn't announce itself. It doesn't show up as panic. It shows up as, I'll figure it out later. It shows up as another scroll session, another podcast you half listened to while doing nothing, another day where you stayed informed but stayed stuck. This is March 2026. The AI era isn't coming. It's here. It's accelerating. And it has already separated the people who moved from the people who watched. Which side of that line you land on isn't being decided 5 years from now. It was decided in the last 90 days. And if you haven't made a single meaningful move in the last 90 days, you already have your answer. That's uncomfortable. It should be. Here's what average looks like in 2026. Average is someone who knows exactly what's happening in the world of AI. They follow the accounts. They watch the breakdowns. They retweet the stats. They can tell you what models are out, what tools are trending, what industries are being disrupted. They are extraordinarily well informed. And they have done nothing with that information. Not one thing. Not a new skill built. Not a workflow changed. Not a single experiment run, just awareness, just spectating at high resolution. Awareness without action is a performance. You're not learning, you're collecting. And there's a difference between a person who collects knowledge and a person who applies it that shows up immediately in their results, in their income, in how people respond to them, in whether they feel like they're moving or standing still. Most people in your circle are collectors. They are very comfortable collectors, and comfort is the mechanism by which potential gets quietly murdered. Stop. You felt something shift when you read that. That was recognition. Hold it. Because here's where the consequence lives, and it's not abstract. It's not a thought experiment. The consequence is compounding invisibility. In a world where AI can produce, automate, optimize, and accelerate at scale, the people who bring nothing distinct to the table become redundant. Not dramatically, not overnight, but gradually and then completely. You don't get fired, you get irrelevant, you don't lose the opportunity. You never get considered for it. The door doesn't close, it just stops opening, and you won't see it happening because the version of your life where nothing changed looks almost identical to the version where everything was possible, right up until the moment it doesn't. One day you look up and the gap between you and the people who moved is not closable through effort alone. Time stacked against you while you waited to feel ready. Readiness is a lie. Comfort tells you to stay where it's safe. Nobody who built anything in a moment of disruption waited until they felt ready. They moved scared, they moved uncertain, and they built readiness through contact with reality, not through watching more content about it. So what is the actual problem? Not AI, not the economy, not the pace of change. The actual problem is the internal architecture you've been running on without examining it. The first layer is fear, but not the kind you're thinking of. Not fear of failure, fear of exposure. Fear that if you actually try to build something new, to learn a new skill, to change your positioning, you will discover something you don't want to discover about yourself. That maybe you're slower than you thought. That maybe you're not as capable as your potential suggested. That maybe the gap between who you believe you are and who you actually are right now is significant. That's the fear that keeps smart people paralyzed. Not the risk of losing, the risk of being seen, trying, and coming up short. So instead, you stay in the comfortable position of someone who hasn't tried yet. Because someone who hasn't tried yet can still be anything. The moment you move, you have to confront what you actually are right now. And that confrontation is terrifying if your identity has been built on potential rather than execution. The second layer is ego. Your ego has convinced you that your experience, your existing skills, your current positioning gives you more buffer than it actually does. This is the most dangerous delusion circulating right now. People with 10 or 15 years in a field are watching that field compress in ways they did not predict. Expertise built over a decade is being democratized and automated in ways that shift the value for a proposition entirely. This doesn't mean experience is worthless. It means experience is no longer sufficient. And the ego that says, "I've put in too much time to start over," is the ego that gets left behind the cleanest, because it never saw the reset coming. The third layer is distraction. Not mindless distraction, but high-quality, productive feeling distraction. The kind where you're always doing something that feels related to growth, but never quite doing the thing that would actually change your trajectory. You're building the context without building the capability. You know the language, you don't speak it. You know the tools, you don't use them. This is the most sophisticated form of avoidance available, and it's endemic right now because the content ecosystem gives you infinite permission to keep consuming instead of producing. Here's the interruption you need right now. If you've been doing this for more than 3 months, you are not confused, you are avoiding. And confusion is the costume avoidance wears, so you don't have to call it what it is. Now, 3 shifts, not motivation, architecture. The first shift is from identity as a noun to identity as a verb. Who you are is not a fixed state, it is a daily output. In the AI era, this is not philosophy, it is strategy. The market responds to what you produce, not what you intend. So the question is not, who am I, in some reflective sense? The question is, what am I producing right now that signals who I'm becoming? If the answer is nothing, your identity is stagnant, and stagnant identities get priced accordingly. This means you have to start before you're ready. You have to produce before you're confident. You have to put something real into the world while it's still imperfect. Because that imperfect output is the only way to build the feedback loop that creates actual competence. The people who are winning right now are not better than you. They are further into their learning curve because they started their learning curve earlier by tolerating the discomfort of being a beginner in public. The second shift is from consuming to deploying. This is where behavior has to change, not mindset, behavior. You have to impose a ratio on yourself. For every hour you spend consuming information about AI, about tools, about strategy, about the future of your industry, you have to spend an equal hour deploying something, building something, testing something, writing something, shipping something. The ratio doesn't have to be generous, but it has to be real. Right now, most people's ratio is about 10 to 1 in favor of consuming. That ratio is where potential goes to age out. Deploying does not mean perfect. Deploying means real. A real experiment that taught you something real is worth more than 100 hours of content that you filed away and never touched. The third shift is from waiting for certainty to operating inside uncertainty. This is the core competency of the AI era, and it is not naturally comfortable for people who built their confidence through mastery of stable systems. The tools are changing, the platforms are shifting, the rules are being rewritten in real time. You will never have certainty. You will never have a clear enough picture. The people thriving right now have internalized that operating inside uncertainty isn't a crisis condition, it's the permanent condition. And they've built a tolerance for it through repeated exposure, not through waiting for the fog to clear. The fog is the landscape. Learn to navigate in it. Now let's talk about time, because you may be treating it like a resource you have in abundance. The window is not infinite. This is not urgency for its own sake. This is math. The people who started building AI native skills 18 months ago have an 18-month compounding advantage over you right now. Every month you delay, that gap expands. not because they're smarter or more disciplined than you, but because compounding is ruthless and impartial. It does not care about your reasons. It does not credit your awareness. It rewards your actions and only your actions. The conversation happening right now in the rooms you want to be in is not about whether to adapt. It's about how fast. The decision to adapt has already been made by the people building the future of every industry you care about. The only open variable is whether you're inside that conversation or outside of it. You felt that. Don't move past it. So here is the identity shift. And this is not motivational language. This is a real instruction. You need to decide right now, not tomorrow, not after you finish this, right now, whether you are the version of yourself who watches the AI era happen to them, or the version who moves through it with intent. Those are two different people. They make different decisions. They spend their time differently. They tolerate different levels of discomfort. They have different relationships with being imperfect in motion. You have been living as if you can occupy both identities simultaneously, as if you can hold on to the comfort of who you've been while slowly drifting toward who you want to become. That's not how identity works. At some point, the drift has to become a decision, and the decision has to be backed by behavior that is immediately, visibly different from what you did yesterday. Not a plan. Behavior. Today. The person you're trying to become does not wait to feel ready. They do not consume another piece of content before they act. They do not give their fear one more week to organize its arguments. They move, they build, they fail forward in the direction of something real. And they do it with the understanding that the discomfort they feel is not a signal to stop. It's a signal that they're finally in contact with something that matters. That's the shift. From waiting to moving. From potential to output. From identity as something you protect to identity as something you build in real time under real pressure with real stakes. You are capable of this. Capability is not the question. The question is whether you're willing to stop protecting yourself from the process that would actually change your results. The answer to that question is being written by what you do in the next 24 hours, not in the next year, the next 24 hours. So move, subscribe to my YouTube channel, Supreme Hustle. If you're serious about growth, see you tomorrow.